5, 4. Hi, my name is Milton Perry. I'm the owner and founder of Super Secret Donuts. And there was probably just a cool graphic that had to do with Super Secret Donuts, right? Tom, edit that in. So Super Secret Donuts, it was started here in, actually it was started in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, an even more niche place of Oklahoma for those of you who have not been here. I'm currently in Tulsa. I actually got my start out of my wife's father's garage on a camp chef, frying stuff outside. It would be like windy, the fire would flare up, my temperatures would be all off, but I really just wanted to try to figure out doing donuts and I didn't want to have a stinky, greasy house. So yeah, we just got going on things and here we are now. I'm not a millionaire yet, but I'm, going in the right direction, I guess. I'm now a thousandaire or whatever you call that. But so Super Secret Donuts, a lot of people will ask, so what's the secret? What's the super secret part of it? And to that, I just have to say, if I told you, it wouldn't be a secret. So I'll never tell that and I'll take it to the grave. Honestly though, the vision for Super Secret, the way that it started, was probably about the better part of 10 years ago, kind of when like the donut hype was like really popping off around like 2015, 2016. I was living in California. This is just before I moved to Hawaii. I just started thinking like, oh man, there's this cool space. There was this Valero in the city I was living in that had this space open up, and I had just started like dreaming about being able to like, what if I open something there? And then ultimately, like in my mind, whenever I'm thinking just creativity, a lot of times I'm thinking like, what do I want or what do I feel like this space needs? And at the time, I just really wanted donuts, and like, how could that work? But I had no idea about a recipe. I had never made donuts before. I, had worked a few kitchen jobs or whatever, but I absolutely would never, even probably to this point, consider myself a baker as much as I am like a cook. Just started like rattling off ideas of like what would be fun flavors and concepts and like what would be like a cool space or a cool logo or even like a fun name or whatever, and kind of tucked stuff away. And so to anybody that's watching this, that's like, oh man, I have this weird pipe dream that I don't really know if it's ever going to be, like, man, put that stuff in your notes. And whether you are the type that is actively like journaling on paper or whatever, just make sure you have some kind of thing of this, because now 10 years later I'm in Tulsa and I'm thinking about like, oh man, this idea that I had thought about so long ago, and it's now starting to come to fruition, and I can start exercising some of these flavor concepts that I thought would just be like a silly fun thing to pull off back then, and I'm able to start rattling things off now to where people are going like, man, how do you guys go through so many flavors so quickly, or where are you guys coming up with this stuff from? It wasn't like an overnight thing necessarily. It's something that I've been thinking about on and off for some time, and kind of put on the back burner, and finally pulled the trigger on it. So here we are. With Super Secret Donuts, people will ask me like, why'd you do this? And like I said, like I just made the donut shop I wanted. A lot of cities, if you go to Nashville or Austin or LA, DC, Oregon, any of these places, right? I can just go on naming big and medium-sized cities. They all have gourmet donut spots, and Tulsa did not. And there was actually a Hertz donut. Go ahead and bleep that out. I don't know if I can say that name here. Edit that out. Just kidding, edit that back in. There was one here, and for whatever reason, I don't know, I've heard things about why it may have or may not, but closed down, right? And that was like, I guess, adjacent to a gourmet donut spot. I think they still just use like big bag mixes and all this kind of stuff. But I just wanted to make the donut shop I wanted. Like I wanted to have good food. And so I thought like, all right, I'm gonna start trying to make this. And so I spent several months just kind of coming up with a good brioche recipe and translating that to a donut. And there was a lot of trial and error to go like, how do I get the donut not to be too bready, and how do I get it to not end up frying too dense, and how do I still get a consistent band, and whatever. And so I just leaned into one donut, and we still have a cake donut recipe that I haven't rolled out, and we're about 6 months in at this point, and we've accomplished a lot thanks to you all. But I've just really focused on just our brioche dough, and that's what people know us for now. But being able to do small batch gourmet flavors, do some more like fun, funky, out there kind of flavors as well, people have been really into. We just recently ran a chocolate haupia that was inspired by the Ted's haupia pie in Hawaii. We also just recently did a fixed chocolate bar donut, the viral Dubai chocolate bar. You probably just saw some cool stock footage of that. Bam, 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 or you didn't, and that's fine, just Google it. But we were able to do like the knefe, the pistachio buttercream, pistachio butter, chocolate ganache, gold leaf, all these cool things with it. We've done a goat cheese and fig donut. We've done an everything bagel donut. We did a garlic butter donut. We did all these kind of things that are a little more fringe, and then some straight down the middle stuff of like a, vanilla glaze kind of thing. The go-to is the brown butter caramel, the Zai, named after my son. It's a brown butter icing with a brown butter caramel and a smoked salt. I still got to make one for Evie. So Evie, if you're watching this in the future, your donut probably exists now. We've spent a lot of time in our time as a pop-up where we were just going from place to place, kind of like running in the wild, kind of flexing our creativity. I'm a person that loves to express themselves just through creativity. If I just have a normal desk job, I feel like I would be very uncomfortable and not really thrive in that. And so this has been like a great way to just, without sounding too pretentious, be able to express my creativity and try out new flavors and different profiles and these kind of things. People have been so open to it. The just community support that I've experienced here in Tulsa has been so amazing, honestly. I didn't know what it was going to be like. So most recently I moved here from Hawaii in February. The people of Tulsa have been so supportive, whether it's the business owners that have been crazy supportive of me with Country Bird and Heirloom and Dante's and Foolish Things and Antoinette's and all these places. I could name so many that have just been like so supportive of what we're doing, and they're in the same industry or adjacent, and they're just saying, hey, whatever you need help with, like, just let us know, right? And then on top of that, just the people of Tulsa obviously have been so supportive and coming in, buying our product, tasting stuff, giving us so much positive feedback, and just being supportive and saying like, hey, we want to have something new. We want to have something better. And ultimately that's the goal of Super Secret Donuts. And I just think it's really cool. There are lots of things here, and I'm not trying to throw a lot of shade, but there's things, all these Kaiser organizations and whatever, and there's Build in Tulsa, and there's, this artist thing, there's Lebec Taylor Foundation, there's all this stuff going on here. I've had people come by and like buy a donut here and there, but those aren't the things that have supported me. Those are not the things that built me. Those aren't the people that gave me loans or a leg up in anything. It's been the people of Tulsa. So it's really cool to feel that like Super Secret Donuts is a grassroots movement. A lot of the vision of what I wanted Super Secret Donuts to be was like a pushback against just the corporate machine of things, like this Krispy Kreme, and I know people here love Daylight Donuts, so go ahead and bleep that out. These things that are like, just go grab a giant pack of mix, rip it open, dump it into a thing, add some water, and spit out, a bunch of very average donuts. And look, if that's what you can afford and that's what you like, there's no shame in that. But if you want something better, like there's so many cool small businesses right now, small culinary businesses specifically, that are putting out amazing products that are kind of fighting back against this just like monotony of these corporate entities. And we get to be a part of that. And so we'll say, kind of tongue in cheek, like death to big donut, right? So we get to lean into the fun, silly conspiracy aspect of things. And obviously, if you've been in that realm at all, you know about big pharma. And so we talk about big donut, and really there are several big names that are really behind the curtain, like whether it's Dawn Foods, US Foods, Benny Keith, Cisco, these kind of things that are just providers really. But on top of just your, main ingredients that they provide, they also provide gigantic buckets of icing and frostings and big pre-mixed mixes of, donut or cake mix or whatever. And when I started to realize that really what you're getting at most places is just them flipping what they bought directly from this provider in, with the least amount of effort as possible, it was a little bit disheartening. So I was like, oh, I could do this, like I could try to make this stuff from scratch. And so that's what we try to commit ourselves to, is we make all of our dough from scratch. We make all of our icings or buttercreams or whatever it is from scratch. And we lean into a couple new, silly fun things, which who knows by the time you're watching this, what we're doing, because we've tried out so many different things in addition to donuts, just because it's, whatever we have inspiration for in that moment. But I can guarantee you that we do it from scratch because you guys are worth it, and people are paying a premium for something, and I want them to have the best that I can give in that. And so keep fighting the good fight and choosing small businesses.